guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, whatever possessed me to do this again. You guys know, if you've watched my channel long enough, that I've had the Me-80 at least twice before. I'm kind of one of those guys that, I gotta go through gear and this and that and decide what is it I really need and so on. Well, of course, we've been filtering down a lot of gear over the last year to minimize stuff, just because it's nice to have 20 guitars and 16 amps and a couple $1,000 in pedal boards and pedals, and oh, it's so wonderful, but you need room for all that stuff too, right? And you can't always possibly use it all at the same time either. So I've been minimizing, and of course the last while I haven't been even really playing guitar in a number of months. Things have changed a lot because of all the lockdowns and all that garbage, and it gets pretty depressing. So I've been playing video games instead of actually even doing anything music for YouTube, which I got to get back into doing that too. So the only amplifier I currently have is actually a Boss Katana Air, but I do have my studio gear, my PA mixer, and all that jazz, of course. And so I got to thinking, well, I got all the effects I could possibly need as far as my Katana goes for doing stuff in the studio. But I'm also back at playing in church again, and I'm actually doing things solo at this point in time. So my pastor told me, if you want to, you can cut it loose. And I thought, that's pretty dangerous because, I like to get a little bit on the rocky side, if you know what I mean. So, and she's like, go for it. Well, this Sunday, of course, I took it easy on everybody, and I played a lot of familiar tunes, which was fine. And a couple of them were a little hyper, but not really hyper. You know what I mean? So I brought my acoustic, and right now the only acoustic guitar I actually have is my J200, which is a pretty big body guitar. And I had originally only bought it as an emergency backup guitar, but life happened and my Taylor was the only thing that could go, because at that time the acoustic wasn't paid off. So anyways, I didn't really feel comfortable playing my acoustic, but I know that with electrics, of course, we can have acoustic simulators, which work actually rather well. Let me just try and straighten out the angle of the camera here a bit. So the simulators work well, and I have a lot of experience with the Me-80, and it does have an acoustic simulator. It also has a preamp section in it, so I can use different amps, right, that are kind of part of this thing. And that'll help me with the electric guitar, because to plug an electric guitar straight to a PA, it's not a lot of output. It's very hard at the board side to get enough gain through to put the signal. So I need a preamp section for that. This has that. And I can push it out more with the foot pedal, whatever. But it also gives me my effects for my chorus, my reverb, my delays. If I want to start going a little on the rocky side with people, I've got distortion on this thing. So I can just turn knobs really quickly if I need to get somewhere else, because we do have a thing where we do have our acoustic sim and all of our distortion stuff just on one area here. So I need to be able to work with that. And the Me-80 does a really great job. And these things are like, they're under $500. And so I went into Along the Quade today, and I said, okay, what do you have in the store that I haven't owned yet? And the look he gave me was just classic, because it's so true. If I haven't owned it or rented it, I mean, what options do we have? So I did look at a couple of different boards, but they weren't adequate, and none of them actually, believe it or not, had an acoustic effect. And it's like, alright, I'm not spending $1,500 on the GT1000 again, because that's majorly overkill, especially when I'm doing this stuff solo. So it's kind of like, Me-80. So I bought another Me-80, guys, and I really like the board, even though it's basic. There were times I couldn't get along in certain situations being with a full band, but since I'm doing this on my own, as my own kind of thing, at least for now, okay? The pastor did agree that at times she would join in with me, which would be great, because me and her do really well together singing. But when it comes to the board side, though, I need an acoustic sim, I need distortion, I need chorus, I need, you know, a few other effects, and I can separate a lot of that out, which is nice. So it's a very useful board for everything I need. And I plug right into the PA, I've got my preamp section, I'm ready to roll. And I don't have to have a lot of confusion stuff, you know, because there's only like maybe one or two songs that I may have some, you know, pretty gritty distortion on, where the rest of them are going to be clean acoustic. So it takes like 2 seconds to switch over, boom, you know, and I'm there. So that's kind of why I did this, you know. But now I'm also thinking, you know, I could actually use an amp at home now, just for this, you know, so I can jam out in here without having to go through all my studio gear and all that too. For now I'm going to do with this though, because finding an amp that I want to have in here, it's not going to be a high performing amp. I don't need 5,000 watts blaring in here, okay? But I do need something that's at least 20-25 watts, that's going to work for me, right? It's also not going to, you know, vibrate the walls apart, because that's not the idea. So anyway, if you're looking at Me-80s, I will tell you this. The Me-80 is a fantastic board. And if you're looking for something very analog, this is Cosm technology, so it's not the Waza stuff. And it does save you a lot of money, you know, and you get a lot of effects in here. Now there is some programmability you can do for your own presets, but you, of course, you are limited on pedal order situation, right? It's very limited that way. But certainly you can get away with a lot of stuff with this machine. And, you know, even if you're going to, you know, you're just starting your own band, this is a great starting point, you know. I mean, it's not professional level stuff, but, I mean, back in the day, it would have been, right, more of a professional kind of thing until all the newer technologies come out. But it is still a fantastic board for in your room. Go to the studio with it if you're going to do some studio work, and this is all you need for the effects for your orders and stuff, because you can combine things as you go, right? It's like having a bunch of stomp boxes. You just program, oh, I need this one, I need that, right? So they are really good for that, and the price is great for an analog setup. And I love the analog sounds out of the Cosm effects. They work fantastic. So anyway, we will have more on this. Of course, I will do some more bit of demo stuff with you, or maybe I'll just do a couple of music videos where you'll actually, you know, where's that distortion coming from? Where's that clean tone coming from? Well, more than likely, it's going to be coming from this and my Gibson Les Paul, or even my Gold Top Les Paul. But I am actually, I did order a Taylor today. I'm actually on the waiting list, so whenever it shows, it shows. I'm not going to tell you what Taylor it is, but it's one that I definitely have not had yet. And it is not the Koa Deluxe that I really wanted, but it is still a fantastic machine. And I played on the right-handed model, and I thought, you know what, that's going to more than do me. You know, maybe someday when I get, you know, $2,600 in taxes, I can actually have my dream Taylor guitar, you know, but just not yet. So in the meantime, we are going to have fun with this here in the studio. We are definitely going to have a blast in church, and my next time I'm up is actually in about 3 weeks from now. So this is like February 10th, so it's near the end of the month. And I'm not sure. I'm definitely convinced that I'm going to do at least one thing with some really raunchy distortion in it. For sure, maybe something with a bit of mild overdrive, but then the rest of it, you know, I got to make them happy, so I'm definitely going to do some, you know, regular old-fashioned worship stuff and maybe a hymn, you know. We'll see how it goes. I got some time to figure it out and get my set list together anyway. In the meantime, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've unboxed these things before, but I thought, well, you know what, let's put a twist on this video and you know, so that some people can question my sanity or not. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to go hook this up and go have some fun for the night. So, see ya.